All right, now it's gonna get messy. You can see up above me here, there's some lines where the drywall is no longer meeting properly. We're not sure if this is from the house settling or if it's from the treadmill that we had up in this room for several years. There's bound to be somebody out there who's gonna say, you have a problem with your foundation and your house is about to fall down and you better get out now! I'm not an expert on house foundations, but I did do a little bit of research, and from what I can gather, most of the time when you have drywall cracks like this, real small ones, it's more likely to be the result of other stressors going on in the house or the house settling. Happens a lot around windows and door frames. Can happen when there's really strong storms that shake your house enough to actually crack the drywall. Or in our case, a big heavy commercial grade treadmill that I ran on every single day in the room right above that drywall. All of that being said, we did have a professional come out and check our foundation to make sure all is well. For this particular project, you're not going to use spackle, you're going to use joint compound. You're also going to need some joint tape. It's not sticky, it's just paper. You'll need a large putty knife. They sell fancier versions of this if you want. I will need a smaller putty knife because I've got some scraping to do before I get started. And you'll also need a little bit of sandpaper, and I'm going to use my palm sander because I happen to have one and it's really handy and it goes a lot faster that way. Now, this one I've never actually done before, so wish me luck. The first thing I need to do is measure these cracks so that I can cut the joint tape to the appropriate length. I couldn't seem to find my metal tape measure. It's probably in my husband's truck, as usual, but this one works. Because of the way these things sort of meet, I want to make sure that the tape will meet each other without overlapping. So I'm going to tape them up to the wall just so that I can eyeball it properly. All right, now it's going to get good. All right, so I'm going to use my all-purpose joint compound. This is about probably $4 or $5 at your home improvement store, so it's cheap for this, size of a jar. And I'm going to slather a bunch of this on there and get a layer of about 1/8 of an inch thick, so kind of thick, because you're going to actually stick the tape to this and embed the tape in it. It's funny, I was actually pretty scared to do this one. I don't know why. I don't know why I'd be more scared of this one than any others, but this one kind of freaked me out. You want to get lots on there way outside of where the crack actually is. All right, I'm going to smooth it out with my bigger putty knife here, or a caulking knife. Now, the smoother you can get it, the less sanding you're going to have to do later. This tape, you're going to want to stick on and really press it in, and then take your putty knives and kind of smooth it in there. Really press it in there good, because it needs to be very well embedded into the joint compound. And if you need to use your other one to hold it, that's good. I think I didn't get quite enough up here, so I'm gonna peel that back a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. And the tricky part is I can't see the crack now. Now, to make sure you're getting all those bubbles out, make sure you go from varying directions so that you're really working them all out of there. Now feather it way out from the tape because that will give you a smoother edge later on. I think I have this about as smooth as I'm going to be able to get it for now. I'm going to come back probably tomorrow and after it's dried and add on another coat. Okay, I'm going to put one more coat of this stuff on here before bedtime so that it has time to dry, and maybe I can finish tomorrow. I really want to feather this out way outside of the line.
What?
I'm doing a video. Want to be on it? No. It's sanding day. Now, after some thought, I decided not to use my palm sander because I realized I was going to have sanding dust in every crevice of this house, and it was going to take forever to get it cleaned out. My husband actually suggested wet sanding, which sounded really strange to me because why would you wet sand drywall? But I looked it up in a few places and it looks like it's a viable option, so I'm going to give it a try. What I've got here is a sanding block. You can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's for pretty cheap. It's got sponge on the inside so it'll hold a little bit of water, and I'm going to try this out. I'm really surprised surprised at how well the wet sanding worked on the drywall. I know they use it for car restorations and such when they want to make the finish nice and shiny, but it didn't occur to me to use it in drywall, so I'm glad I tried it. I'm just putting a little bit of primer on here. What the primer does is it gives it a nice, smooth, even surface for the new paint to adhere to, and protects against stains and things like that as well. All right, that's definitely gonna need a second coat, so I'm gonna save this for later. Ta-da! It's been a couple of days and it really looks fantastic. The paint color, I am amazed that they got it as close as they did, and I'm so grateful because I had no desire to paint this 2-story wall again. One thing though, I did not spend enough time sanding, and that's really obvious in certain spots where I definitely should have smoothed it out a lot better, and that might bug me a little, and I may have to go back and actually sand that part down. So I wish I had spent more time doing that. But otherwise, I think it looks fantastic. I'm excited to get on to the next project. Coming soon, part 3.